My friends, the beginning of August, from about the 1st to the 10th, saw some ugly race-related riots, Islamophobic related riots in the UK. These manifest some troubling times for our country. The tyranny of racism is real, and we must resist it. We saw people being scared to go out on the streets. We saw people being scared to go to work. We saw people just being scared to be because of fear that they will be attacked and abused in the streets. This is our country, and this is unacceptable. Islamophobia, racism have no place in our country. It is beginning to sound like cliche, and it can sound like cliche. But the government needs to take a moment to understand why this broader far-right galvanizing is happening in our country, on the European continent, and also in the United States and elsewhere. The question of why needs to be answered. Otherwise, it will be like window dressing and or band-aid therapy, where we are treating the wrong problem. Civic and political leaders need to ask, what is driving far-right galvanizing in this country, in communities, in cities, in towns? What is sustaining it? My friends, you cannot successfully tackle what you don't understand. So we cannot successfully tackle far-right extremism, far-right Islamophobia, far-right racism in our country unless we understand the root causes. We must, in effect, get back to basics. We saw this week as well anti-racism protests, which gives us hope from wide cross-sections of society, pushing back against far-right extremism in our country. People are standing up and saying racism is not okay. Islamophobia is not okay, not in our country and not in our name. We saw as well individual acts of kindness from white allies who extended their privilege to different people. In fact, my own neighbor contacted me one day to say to me, it's kicking off in town, and let me know if you would like me to come and pick you up from work. Such remarkable acts of kindness and allyship should be noted, but such remarkable acts of kindness and allyship should not be necessary. This is our country, and we all should feel safe in our country. We need to protect each other, life, limb, and liberty. We need to protect each other equally. I call upon the government and civil and political leaders to look for ways, firstly, to understand what is driving and sustaining far-right extremism in our country, but also to pursue every opportunity to engage in community partnerships and social partnerships with different organizations, with political, civic organizations, with local organizations that can help to educate and produce new ways of thinking and new ways of being. I've said it earlier, we cannot understand We cannot change what we cannot understand, and therefore we cannot fix what we do not understand. So our political leaders, our civic leaders must engage in some progressive partnerships, some partnerships with far-right groups to understand um, what is happening to their people. Why are people feeling so disaffected? But crucially, we need the government and political leaders need to be strident in their condemnation that far-right extremism, indeed any form of extremism, has no place in our society. So these progressive partnerships is not to condone, but is to seek to understand so we can forge alliances. We can build bridges, bridges of hope that can translate themselves into safety and security for people of color in this country. I hope we will never see such rioting again on our streets. And I hope the fear that was stoked in the hearts of many people, including myself, this past week, will never again happen in my lifetime, or indeed in the lifetime of my children or their children. One love.